Welcome guys for the first time on the Rock3tt Racing channel in commentated video. Today we are going to do something different than in any other videos. Today I'm gonna break the wall on my skill level in drifting with Logitech G29 steering wheel. And this is going to happen because I decided to make records on all drift zones. I mean my records, of course. I'm not going to be rank 1 in all drift zones for now. We all know that it's not even possible to do on a steering wheel, but it's definitely a challenge because I did play all drift zones on my Horizon before. Some of them I tried hard to do some decent score, but there are also some with not that high scores. So before we begin, I'm gonna share with you my steering wheel settings because that is fucking pain in the ass for a newbie. I bought my first steering wheel with force feedback on Christmas in 2018. It's almost half a year ago and I struggled hard to make the wheel works. For example, it's a shame what I'm going to say now, but I really played without force feedback for 3 months without knowing that I'm doing something wrong. And I was wondering how the fuck they hold rear-wheel drive cars on the road, because without force feedback, steering wheel doesn't turn to copy feedback of the wheels and the road, and it made me to spin around all the time. It was so hard to drive rear-wheel drive cars without force feedback, but finally after months of testing, reading and trying hard, I made the wheel works. So let's check it out. If you struggle how to set your wheel correctly, feel free to copy all my settings and try it out. I don't say these settings are the best in the world, but after I made these settings I have like 100 times more fun roaming around, drifting, and I just begin to enjoy even easy and calm driving style because with force feedback and these settings it feels much more realistic. So set the wheel and enjoy, my friends. I'm gonna continue in making records on my drift zones. I have to admit that making records on drift zones takes much time. I mean, sometimes. This is the first video of drift zone series on my channel and I'm definitely going to make more of them, since you can improve your drift zone scores infinitely. Even if you tried million times on some drift zone and you made fucking high score that seems to be unbeatable for you, believe me, you can still improve and make it higher. If you don't believe it, just check the leaderboards and I can say it will make you feel so sad. Sometimes it just needs to change the way you are opening the drift zone. Try to go in different speed from a different side, or if you struggle to find a way, check out videos on YouTube and it can help you to find the correct way how to make the highest possible score on every drift zone. In this video I made records on many drift zones, but I still let the window open for another records, and that's why I'm going to make drift zone series out of this. Another reason why I decided to do this is that it really increases your skill in drifting with the steering wheel, because when you free roam and drift on your own, you tend to make just drifts that looks amazing but not the drifts in the biggest possible angle, and Forza can punish you for that later when you try to make higher score on drift zone. You will find out that you need to learn how to hold the car on the road with more angle, which gives you more drift points, and I realized that even when free roaming and making awesome drifts is fun, I need to take it to another level in drift zones, and sometimes with cars that have much more horsepower. That was the issue for me a little bit, because I used to drift on cars around 850, which means A-class I think, but some drift zones require to do drifts in much higher speed, so you need to take cars which can kick your ass to the side with just a little throttle down, and problem begins here. That's why I would recommend to learn drifting with cars that don't have much horsepower, because you will end up spinning around all the time. It's much harder when your throttle is sensitive as fuck, and it is on two powerful cars, so my advice number 1 is to take A-class cars around 800 and learn small drifts in lower speed, in the city for example, and when you get used to drift on it, then you can try faster cars. That's the real challenge, to drift in 200 km/h and hold your car in drift and on the road. I think it's the hardest part on learning how to drift. Another tip I would really like to say is that never try to play on steering wheel without force feedback on 100, or maybe a little bit less, but still always use force feedback because it just makes your driving feel more realistic. After I bought the steering wheel, me and my friends were driving without it and everybody complained that it does not feel like a real car. It was too sensitive, every little steer makes the car quite uncontrollable, and I'm not going to talk about how impossible it is to control rear-wheel drive cars without force feedback. We just simply avoid every rear-wheel drive car and used only all-wheel drive or front-wheel drive. And even if you feel that force feedback just turned the wheel on its own and you feel like you are not driving at all, just realize how fast you are going and imagine what would car do in real life. If you are going 150 km per hour and you try to initiate drift in real life, believe me, it would be impossible to hold the wheel in hands even with strong power steering. It would just blow the wheel from your hands and you would crash so hard. Now, if you didn't play with it, or you set it too low so you couldn't feel it at all until now, go, change it, and you have my word that after a few days of practicing you will be happy that you did this step. Force feedback even helps you to make correct counter steer after you initiate a drift. If you are a beginner with a steering wheel and you don't know what to do when you are in a drift, force feedback shows you the correct way how to handle the drift, or at least how to make it back and get traction again so you can hold the car on the road. Without it, you are left to learn it on your own with a steering style that doesn't follow real-life driving, and I'm gonna help you with this in another video. I'm just working on drifting tips tutorial where you can find many advices how to start your journey to a drift king. I will talk about what to do in every part of your drift, how to initiate a drift, how to hold it, how to follow the road when you need to slow down, speed up or avoid the traffic on the road. So make sure to stay tuned for more useful tips on how to drift. So that's all I wanted to say in this video, guys. Enjoy the last few drift zones and make sure to hit like and subscribe button for more. Thanks guys, and see ya in next video.
You've arrived at your destination.
The wind is blowing through her hair. Like the hair on the road. And you know when she likes it when I treat her good. She likes it when I treat her good. She likes to travel all around. I take her everywhere and back. She let me be the fucking man. Roll it right back, now I'm like that. I'm a fan,
You've arrived at your destination.
you know that you were so bad. Let's just spend a couple grand, girl. You know you fucking with me.
You've arrived at your destination. You've arrived at your destination.
Cruising PCH with the top down, drop down. Headed nowhere fast, never stop now, not now. We ain't slowing down, never going back. Set aside, but it's all about, never at a doubt. Yeah, she can see the shine out, she a hot one. Hot sun, crackers out of line. Every single day, every day, never stay in place. Don't care what they say, we gon' do it anyway. Always by my side, never not right. Every night, we just ride, just a high, just getting by.
You've arrived at your destination.
Every day is a new day in a new place, when a new space, in a new place, in a new days, to a new way, to a new state. That's great, and then it's state one day.
You've arrived at your destination.
We're living life like a badass.